Our prayer for today is a prayer of thanksgiving. Thanksgiving to God for the fellowship and community that the church provides. And that is indeed something for which we need to be thankful. That is one of the greatest blessings we as Christians have. The fact that we have fellowship with one another, the fact that we have community, the fact that we get to enjoy this Christian life as brothers and sisters in Christ. The word for fellowship has to do with that idea of partnership, doing something together, sometimes even translated community. And so that is something for which we need to be grateful. One of the things that I've noticed in a lot of travels and mission work is we often take for granted the fellowship that we have here in America and especially in North Alabama. So many Christians across the world do not have the fellowship that we have. It's not their own fault. It's just logistically impossible. They don't get to spend the time together often that we do. And many times they're in school or in places of employment where they're the only Christians. And so they don't have as many opportunities and don't have the advantage of that fellowship. But fellowship is important. It's something that we should be grateful for in everything that we do. The passage we want to consider today is Acts 2, verses 42 through 47, and it gives us an idea of what the early church was about. This, of course, is after Peter's sermon, and many have been baptized. And we read this according to Luke. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship and the breaking of bread and the prayers. All came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. All who believed were together and had all things in common. And they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. And day by day, attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved. You see, in the early church, it seems like fellowship was what they were about. It was a very important part of their lives and sets a good example for us today. We need fellowship. Why do we need fellowship? Well, because we need encouragement. Often the Christian life is difficult, and we are there to encourage each other, to lift each other up. But I think we also need fellowship for accountability so that we can help each other when we stumble or when we fall, and we can keep each other accountable in those ways. Fellowship is something that is a great benefit when we receive it. Because we have our brothers and sisters in Christ, we are encouraged, we are held accountable, but we also need to remind ourselves to do our part in giving fellowship, to make fellowship the best it can be. So the journal question for today is, how can you foster deeper fellowship here at Woodlawn? What can you do personally to make this happen? Pray about that today, please, as we continue our prayers together.